starting to feel like a non-judgmental crew. I have to comment. Tiger King controversy. Now he saw tigers. Now he understands. I saw tigers. Non-judgmental. Check us out, iTunes. Many people on Spreaker still. I don't know, man. It seems like everything's changing nowadays. Other than the metal. Non-judgmental. In my opinion, it's some of the best shit on YouTube, but honestly, if you're on YouTube, you need to go ahead and subscribe to Non-Judgmental.
You know.
That's what you do. Just a click.
Yeah, so watching this shit, and I think that thing that stuck up we were talking about.
If you saw tigers, would you understand?
Maybe I would. Let me tell you what I didn't understand. When they were talking, like it's like in the first or second episode, and the ponytail cult dude, he was saying something about
Doc.
Yeah, he was saying something about like how the crazy Clinton lady Baskins was
Guilty?
no
Oh.
no the YouTube thing and how she was like on there with the social media and getting that presence. And they were all sitting around watching that music video of that girl singing. And I was just like, I remember they were like, yeah, I mean, if you got gold content like that. And I was like, I just remember thinking that song sounded fucking awful to me. Like, it was really bad. Like, I didn't think it was bad. Like, I didn't like the girl singing at all. And, like, it stuck out. And I was like, huh.
The most recent controversy. Joe's not the real singer?
Is that true?
I don't fucking think so. Travis, or not Travis, who's the other guy? I don't know, man. I'm starting to really fucking turn on everybody from the fucking zoo and shit now because, like,
gallery of the fucking
you're right. But now they get the slightest little bit of fucking like.
I don't think that show could be any better unless it was fucking animated. Like, I want to see an animated version of it, like a fictional cartoon version. And I think that's the only way like it could really be more extreme.
Right, but Rick, at the end of the season 8 shit, says he completely regrets ever meeting Joe Exotic. And I said, how goddamn dare you? How goddamn dare any of you to act like, no, I don't. I wish I never would have fucking met him and shit. Like, only one person, I think, has the ability to be able to say that truthfully.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's Travis. And that sucks, but at the same time, he was probably stoned. This Ruger don't even need it. It sucks. Sad as fuck, right? But at the same time, like, I don't blame the weed just because he was fucking high or whatever the fuck he was on. That's just the mentality of those people. But I don't know, for Rick to come in there and act like he's gonna make $1 million and shit, and act like he wasn't even a suspect in the whole burning of the studio and shit, because that was my retirement savings and shit. Like, maybe I'm crazy. I don't fucking know. You goddamn right it does. And what if Carol? He did have contacts with Carol, but she never ever offered money, according to her fucking simp husband shit. Like that fucking ball sack. I fucking hate that dude too. We're going off today. Like, this might be judgmental. 2020.
Oh Lord.
Man.
Yeah, I when I catch my breath, I absolutely could not stand those people.
Right.
And that guy, I don't know if simp is the word I'd use, but like, I don't know, man. His whole demeanor, like,
Right.
it just seemed like anything this woman said, he was game with. Like, right off the bat. Like, you remember
The
when
Mother Teresa of dead cats and shit. Like, what does that mean, really?
Yeah.
Does that mean, what does she do for cats then? Like, she just hangs out with dead cats? Like, almost dead cats?
What
Like,
reality are these people in?
dude, there was one video I think they posted to Instagram on the fucking Big Cat Rescue shit where the guy's running and there's like a rock track in the background of it, and it's the most fucking ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my entire life because he's running,
Like, jogging.
but he's jogging slower than I walk. I got big steps.
But would have had like the rock music playing.
Ooh, like glam rock, like it's fucking real power chordy,
like
fucking.
It's a Rocky Balboa workout video, but instead it's in fragile old Catman walking on a trail.
With his pants completely pulled, his shorts completely pulled past the upper thigh type shit. Like, it was crazy looking.
To give those people credit though, they're unstoppable. Like they're just fine with being that way.
Well, if I've got $11 million, fuck what you say.
I guess so.
And it's not just all that. That's just on the books and shit. The donating, like the people work for free.
Money does
like,
talk, but it also,
I just like the fact that Doc went into the Senate and shit and got pictures with all those fucking people holding cats and shit. Like, man, you got to be 4 steps playing fucking 4D chess and shit to stay upon, like, and on top of that shit. So, like, as much as Joe Exotic looked up to that dude, I'm kind of taking notes on what exactly he's doing and shit right now. He's just a single man in this world and shit. Like, he's his own god.
You got into this, so you followed up afterwards.
Right,
so
completely.
What kind of info did you find out? Because I'm curious, because I know you're a man that really gets into these type of things.
All right. Are you aware that the makers of this actually did do the Blackfish documentary that basically took over and took down SeaWorld and shit because SeaWorld does horrible things, and like they came across as, you know what I'm saying, anti-SeaWorld, but it was more just pro whale and killer whale shit. And like, I agree with it, great documentary, 100%, but for him to act like this was a complete smear piece, even though all through the 7 episodes and shit, like, everybody talks shit about Big Cat Rescue, but like, where did the facts line up? Like, what did the court say? Like, who won? Who got the money? Who got paid? It's just like, in my opinion, I don't know.
Somebody was telling me, they were like, I can't watch it because I don't want to watch it glorify those people. I was like, I don't think it does that. I was like, I think it gives everyone a fair opportunity to look like a piece of shit at times. Like, it clearly does. Like,
if you fucking record everything you do all fucking day long, like, and motherfuck, like, why would Joe do it? Who knows? But he wanted the fame and shit. I think he is aware of some of the fundraisers and the fact that, like, I think Joe Rogan actually mentioned something about the pardon shit going to Trump's desk if we get enough signatures and whatnot. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course I did. Like, I myself, like, I don't think he's the worst of them. And until Jeff and that fucking snitch person that fucking rides the jet ski, I don't fucking know what his name is. Like, I think he's one of the bad ones. But as
like,
you say,
even as like, all right, so like if you were to, I guess, tell somebody this story, like in an abridged version, like if you were like, hey, give me a summary of the 7 episodes of the show.
Can't do it.
Right, but if you tried to, I can see how someone might go, oh yeah, that dude talked a lot of shit. It definitely looked like he probably did that. But it's like, as that shit breaks down, you definitely see that there's like cracks in the wall in that whole thing. Like,
right.
People not testifying and, you know, certain people not being asked to testify. Like, it was very
like the guy that said he was paid to go kill, like, he didn't have to testify. It's fucking weird.
That's weird.
How that would happen. Like, I got you.
I think the odd thing in that is it's like I think people look at it and go, because somebody was like, oh, well, you know, you couldn't get a hitman for that cheap, and I would agree to something like that. I mean, not like I've ever.
Unless you were being set up.
Unless. It's not. I'm not even saying.
I'm just saying.
I don't know, but
that's me, Vitamin
I
Nick.
It's also just like not even trying to be shitty about it, but I mean, I don't think it's necessarily that it's about a monetary thing in that sense. I think people would just believe that fact because if it's like, all right, so let's say the story was about a documentary or museum owners and they're curating with tens of $millions a year, and somebody paid $100,000 to send a hitman across states, we might believe it. But then you look at like a gay, methed up cowboy, and they're like, look at this trailer park trash, man. This guy needs a fucking crazy documentary about him. Look, you get someone $3,000, and you just look at that amount, like, look at the guy and look at that amount, and like, you know, people don't distinguish it. They're just like, oh yeah, I could see some methed up dude doing something like that because we have a bad perception of how the media would cover somebody like that. And I'm not sitting here saying like meth and shit's good, but I'm saying like, you know, like, the memes out there, you see the memes of it, you know, the gay meth cowboy, I've seen shit like that and stuff like that going on, like, you know, I mean, The guy's definitely complex in all sorts of ways. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, you put that story in a spin, like, oh man, this methed up, crazy tiger dude paid somebody a small amount of money, and they were upset.
We so easily just say methed up because a couple people were missing some teeth and shit. But like the guy with no legs and whatnot, like he actually said in the David Spade interview, which like all 8 of those interviews with all the people, fantastic. But he actually said the whole time he was there, every time he was around Joe, like maybe it was because Joe knew he was like really anti-meth. Like he never witnessed Joe ever go and
even
do
in
it.
the show, he said he's done meth. He didn't say I'm on meth. He said I've done meth.
Right.
In a past tense. And I look at that guy and I think he talks.
It's like a new age coach.
So much that's what gets him in trouble.
Yeah.
So it seems to be that like, even if that were something he would lie about, he would be caught, or there'd be a lot of proof that he'd be messed up all the time.
All the time.
So I can see him saying, I've done meth.
Well, you see how flamboyant, how charismatic he is and shit, and I'm like, whoa, hold on. Some people are just born that way.
That's absolutely true.
Mr. McGruff here, just charismatic as hell. The thing is,
I try.
I don't know, man. Like, and then the Joel McHale thing, as much as I love Joel, it just seemed like a smear piece because... I don't know about you, after you finish episode 7 with the whole chimpanzee that I mentioned to you earlier on the phone and shit, like that moment right there where Joe feels sympathy and he understands like caging certain animals. And like I said, I put tigers and gorillas in a different category, I guess. I wouldn't eat either one of them.
I'm not going to glorify what he did. I mean, he definitely got caught up in his shit and did some horrible things.
But not only both sides do it. Everybody out here doing what we're doing does it.
I'm not saying like he's unique in his, but I'm saying like, you know, like I definitely think that they were right when they said it started with good intentions, and you know, maybe passively through all this he could learn to change that, you know, and if he does get out right, maybe he could do something with it and actually, you know, do better with the, you know, that kind of attitude that he you know stuck with now. But who knows? You know, I mean, you never know. Like, man, stranger things have happened.
I don't know.
So
everybody,
you tell the dude has a heart. That's what I'm saying.
Everybody other than
like I look, some people were like, yeah, I mean, you know, of course he was hiring like misfits and deplorables, man. They're easy, cheap to pay, blah blah blah. But I mean, like at the same time, like you are giving people a chance, man. There's
right.
Dude, like I mean, I work in the city and I see people like that all the time that would do super well in a situation like that, but they have nothing, and that would be a unique enough experience for them to find purpose in life. So I mean, I can't.
Which is another reason when you say you regret ever meeting him. How dare you? How fucking dare you? You wouldn't be fucking with tigers and shit. Like,
somebody gets pissed off and says, like, you got to think, man. Imagine all like the media attention and the fame those people are getting right now due to this shit. Like, I don't know how mentally that would take a toll on me, especially considering the negative effects of it. I mean, like, you know, just even before this media circus of a documentary hit them, you know, they had animal rights people coming after them all the time, constant lawsuits dealing with their situation, their employer, probably more than once wondering, you know, how are we going to get through this situation? So I'm saying, like, those people underneath the servants under the king, that, you know, like, they like man, I really feel like bad for like that guy that lost out. I was like, yeah, man, he had all these pictures of him with the cats, and, you know, what was this, Eric, I think, a long-haired guy.
No legs? Or he came out super anti-Joe and shit, and like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, like, I get it.
I'm not going to say they're in the wrong about it. I'm not going to say they're in the right. I'm not them. But I mean, like, that was their life for a long time, and their whole livelihood has absolutely changed now. And now
he's still working in the zoo with Jeff. Like, he's going to move to the other zoo when they open it. Like, why are you so sour? It's because Jeff needs you to be sour. Like, I don't know. I'm all conspiratorial about it and shit.
Their own shit, you know?
After this night, like, I feel like
they were put in that position by this goddamn media service documentary 100%. And Joe, but it would have never happened if they weren't doing a documentary on Joe. So I'm saying I can understand there being some bitterness to it, and that bitterness will probably subside, man. I mean, they were working for a long time. I mean, I'm just saying from my perspective, some of those people actually seem like rational, cool people. Like, they seem like decent human beings. Like, you know, regardless of the look of the stereotype of the misfit.
Right, like Saf, who was referred to as a girl, and I thought was a girl, but it turns out through episode 8, like, he actually did ask, and she's a man. That's a man. I need to stop saying her and shit. Like, I'm fucked up. I saw somebody on
that was me. Her, but I kept hearing the show refer to he, and then, but you know, it was confusing back and forth, and I was like, Well, what the fuck? I mean, that's not. But I mean, regardless of whoever, whatever gender somebody may be, he seemed like a really good person.
Super.
Like
He's
just
like
a down to earth, understandable person. That line at the end, like Tiger's Law.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know.
And he did.
Dead on, man. I was like,
he never said he regretted meeting Joe, for God's sakes, and shit. And he was just like, well, like I feel bad for the Tigers yet again in episode 8, just reiterating what he said instead of changing, instead of talking about like I don't go to court, I don't do anything wrong, I don't try to do this. Like I don't know, man. Like I hope,
some people, I don't know. Like
I don't either, man.
I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt to somebody who's in that perspective, because as me and you have never been in a perspective where like somebody's hounded down with some cameras, just be like, hey man, this fucking dude changed your whole life. Tell me, are you fucking pissed? Like, kinda right now. Like, I mean, you don't know how bad like this shit gets hounded. You don't know what they deal with in personal life. Like that, like you said, that guy's still working at the zoo. So
right.
How many people are coming up to him there?
It's closed.
Oh, is it right there?
Yeah,
how
but
many
you still gotta
just
say
in his real life are coming up to him, asking him fucking random questions about that shit all the time. You know, and maybe he don't want that, and it's his freedom not to want it.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, I don't know how irritated somebody may be with the situation, and that's probably still pretty fresh in their head, considering all that's just now coming out. So I mean, you know, give it time, and you'll probably hear some different attitudes about it. But I could see being bitter towards somebody if my life kind of got thrown into upheaval. And regardless if you're on one owner or another,
in 2020, with how much people pay for fucking followers and shit, like I don't know. It seems like everybody's got a price, and it seems like there's certain people that can fucking, yeah, as I'm saying, there's certain people that can kind of go against the grain, but it just like by saying everybody, not all, I don't know. Damn it. I shouldn't have watched it. Somebody on YouTube said that, like, look, if you don't watch the David Spade interviews and shit, like, don't even sweat it. Exactly. And I said, no, I gotta subscribe to Non-Judgmental.
I'm just, like, your perception can change based on how often you click the subscribe link. And Non-Judgmental is a perfect perception change.
Hey, check out the Tiger King crew on Kill Tony a week or two ago, I'm not sure. It was before all the quarantine stuff happened. Red Band, Death Squad, Non-Judgmental. Not technically affiliated. I don't know. Tiger. It all started with tigers, and now we understand.
Man, and I like it. Man. I want that. Snuggle it. I would
Take a good care. Did you see the video on YouTube?
I like those.
I subscribe to Joe Exotica TV on YouTube. It's still on YouTube, yeah. It's got like 244,000 followers and shit. Yeah.
And here's the thing. I wish South Park was in season.
Oh, they're gonna come with the heat.
I know they are.
Yeah.
But can you imagine what they would have done in the middle of this, like with it being so fresh? I mean, I imagine when it comes back into it, but I mean, just like
That's gonna be a deep onion, I see.
yeah, there
Maybe a four-way or some shit.
Coronavirus combo episode.
There's gonna be a throuple of episodes, I think, to kind of show the love, the joy, the bliss, and then
There's been something about Tiger social distance. It was
Yeah.
some fucking weird shit.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping
saw
for it.
Joe tries like the Tigers social distancing. Like, well, no, a couple of them actually do hump from time to time, but then we have to kind of take care of them still. So I don't know. It is tight.
Tigers are beautiful. I understand the allure of wanting to hold a tiger. I can get that. When they were talking about, like, you know, how cool it is to hold a baby tiger, I can be like that, you know. I love cats. I like my cats. I can imagine, like, getting to experience, you know, especially considering they are an endangered species. So I do think that that's something that it makes sense why that's a popular business. I couldn't deny it, but yeah, I mean, like, that's a tough one though. Like, what do you think about it? Like, you know, I mean, do you think zoos should not be allowed to have those creatures, or because I mean, like I think that
certain creatures.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course. I think that in the sense that you know, using them to constantly profiteer for money all the time, like I can see issues with that. I can see issues with some of the things that, you know, protagonists and antagonists in this series had, you know, without getting into details about it. But I do agree with the idea that, like, having them out there for people to see and experience out of their natural habitat in some way or form for educational reasons, and for us to be aware of these creatures and to you know, show their beauty to people, to be like, hey, this is a beautiful living thing that is endangered. It needs to be protected. So I can see the positive ideas in both sides. I just feel like it's really weird that it's just gigantic money.
Exactly. But like this entire American experiment, it's just a money war over who's got the best idea first, and who took advantage of the system to capitalize off the system, capitalizing off somebody else and shit. And that's what it feels like, the whole Carol thing. But I don't know, man. Like, I know my place for the tiger, and that's far away. And that's me being a pussy, I guess. But like, I play. Even like human babies, I play. Like, it's cool, but it's like, kinda.
Like, you know, alright, so, I mean, but like I said, you can understand the appeal of the baby tiger to some people, right? Or maybe just because you don't get it, like,
to me, it's all for the gram type shit, where it's like, you have to take a picture with the shit, like it's an actual learning experience, where it's like, oh my gosh, like I'd never really thought about tigers until I touched it.
That I can understand, like, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how I quite feel about that compared to, like, people being at a zoo or an instructional thing with a trainer who's, you know, showing them things with the animal that they, you know, have taken care of and raised. I don't have an issue with that, really. You know, like, a bunch of kids in school, like, you know, learning about tigers. I went as a child, and, you know, I was fascinated by animals as a kid. You know, I got a huge love for them now, man. I got 7 pets. Like, you know, I get that bond we get, but of course, in the same instance, like, you know, I don't know how I feel about that. I look at them as family. I don't know how I feel about them if they were manipulated in any way for profit, you know, and just treated like they were objects.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like lightning don't strike twice in the same place, ever, right? And I felt like with Abby being like my first dog that's mine, it was just like the perfect fucking dog for 3 or 4 years, as long as I had her and shit. Like, right? And then Kitty before that, like the little gray smoke kitty, sweetheart, just trying to put her fucking ass and pussy all up in your face all the fucking time, but she was gross like that. Like, never got pregnant once. Was like a feral cat kind of, where she went outside and shit. Like, I know that kills a lot of birds now that I think about it. Nonetheless, after having those 2 pets, like, yeah, I know the kids want them, but they don't want to take care of them. So you can wait till you get a little older, till you're ready to take care of them and shit, because usually when you get an animal and you're too young to really understand how much responsibility goes with it, I don't know. So I did have JoJo and shit because he fucking picked me. I don't know how that fucking works and shit, how a dog can just pick you and be like, hey, I'm going to follow you around and always have to walk on the right side of you from now on, when you have to take me outside to walk, because I don't know. But it keeps me active. Nonetheless, am I going to get another dog afterwards? Maybe. Maybe not, though. Like, I'm not even bullshitting. Like, I don't like fucking picking up dog shit, even outside when I walk the dog and whatnot. Everybody's like, oh, fucking, my little trailer lot can't have dog shit on the front yard and whatnot. And I'm just like, well, cool. Like, I've never said that to anybody, but, like, I've had 4 or 5 people. Nice park, but, like, picking up poop. That's why I got the big fucking bag of bags and shit. Like, it's fucking overrated. I thought it was fucking fertilizer for the fucking ground and shit. Like, well, kids play out here. Bullshit.
My dog's super damn cool. My dog, he got a top floor apartment, and I'll walk to the door, and I'll just be like, Katie, go. She'll run down to the bottom, and she'll run over to the spot in the woods, completely out of the way of walking paths. She'll dump and run right back up the stairs to the house. I ain't got to do shit with it. I ain't got to worry about her.
That's an Abby.
Perfect. She's perfect. All the neighbors love her. They know she's the most non-hostile creature in the world. She runs
Sweetheart.
in people's houses, man. They hand her a shit. She runs back out like, wow. Like, you know.
It doesn't usually happen with just other people's dogs and shit. Like,
Yeah.
they usually stay where they're supposed to be. But
Yeah.
this right here, just free,
Katie goes
laissez-faire.
to Scott's all the time. She just calls the door, walks in.
Right.
She's what's in Scott. You know, she's very, very people friendly. She loves everyone, you know, but she's super well behaved too. I mean, like, you know, but that's her personality, and that's, you know, that. But yeah, I don't have to run in the woods and pick up shit. So that's 100% grateful. Plus, it's in the fucking woods. You know, if it was like right there on the sidewalk, I'd pick it up. Okay, kids riding their bike on the sidewalk sometimes down there. All right, I'd pick the shit up if it's on the sidewalk. But it's not on the sidewalk and it ain't in the grass, even where kids might play.
All right.
So, no one's going to say shit, and if they do, fuck them.
And this fucker, though, this fucker be walking him right, and we're good, just walking through and shit, and he just, no, because he feels it, but he's on the driveway. Oh, and he just drops it, liquidy on the driveway and shit, and I'm like,
So there's no picking up. There's no picking that up.
but why, Joe? Why not on grass? I mean, god damn, yo, like, we're supposed to be helping each other. You see I have to pick it up, and yet you still do this, like, all right, but so
Yeah,
like,
but
do
I
you
mean,
not love him? I
man,
still love him to
look at
death,
this
but
thing, man.
goddamn,
And
like,
the second that I just rubbed my eye, he like somehow rolled 3 spots to the right. Look at him.
he just wants to be in.
He is so aloof. Like, I have never met a dog that is aloof.
I don't know what that terminology means. Aloof. I'm sorry, Nick. Come on, man. That's kindergarten shit. What? Aloof. L-U-F-F.
Alright, so he's sitting here, he's got his tongue hanging half.
Right.
And we walk, he's like,
Look silly.
sideways. If you say something and you know he's listening, he's still looking at you like, huh?
What was that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, silly.
Yeah, kind of, in a way, distant, you know, kind of
Strokey.
a little odd, you know. I don't know. I mean, do I gotta look up?
I don't know.
Or
I'm just
anyway,
like-
if you don't know, maybe no one else does. So
Maybe I haven't heard
I'll
that
just
word.
look up the
Is that the
definition.
word of the day? Aloof. Non-judgmental word of the day. Here's the definition.
Conspicuously uninvolved and uninterested.
That's my boy.
Cool and distant.
Is there a band name available for Loof? Non-judgmental.
But, you know, yeah, aloof. A-L-O-O-F.
Because I didn't know about, like, not adult, but what is a adult. I didn't know that until, like, fucking 2018 or some shit like that. And, like, it's apparently, like, the safe version of saying somebody's retarded.
Calling them adult.
Yeah.
You're adult, not the word A-D-U-L-T, but D
Yeah.
space D-O-L-T. Yeah, adult. Yeah, it's
That's a weird terminology to use that.
It's
But
a
then
weird-
say, well, yeah, I'm an adult.
I always liked Waterhead. Waterhead's always one of my favorite ones. Because, like, I always feel like, or Clown Shoe. Waterhead and Clown Shoe are two of my favorite insults. Waterhead, because it just reminds you of that person that seems to be walking around with nothing in there, just a bunch of liquid, like, you know, that kind of, like, slish lots, like just, you know, floating through life. And then, when you think of a clown shoe, you think of a big, floppy, goofy, stupid thing. So, calling somebody that
Right.
generally is just pretty accurate.
Unless it's the clown poltergeist. It's scary as fucking room and shit. Kind of haunted and stuff. The fucking poltergeist clown that strangled the kid and the machine fucked up and whatnot. Alright, so like documentaries, right? If the Tiger King wasn't enough for you, checked out Cursed Films. This Cursed Film is about poltergeist, the fucking exorcist, and no, the Omen.
That's like the real stories of them and shit.
The story of making the movies and how many people had to die in order to get them. Pop quiz. Skeletons in movies and shit. Are they real skeletons from like real humans, or are they just like
I think most times they're crossed, but there also are donated ones.
99.4% of the time The real skeletons.
Yeah, usually donated.
What the fuck?
Shit, yeah.
But no, that's a cursed pool because we got those skeletons from India in the Poltergeist movie where the fucking back has the Poltergeist. No,
I haven't watched
there's a bunch of skulls and shit in the fucking back fucking swimming pool.
documentaries. I mean, I know Poltergeist, but
The movie, yeah.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
There's a pool in the back with the skulls and shit. Well, it was a cursed film because they got those fucking skeletons from India. What is India? Like, I don't
that's kinda
understand
what I'm
exactly.
thinking. There they do it.
That's what the big thing on cursed films was. So like, I didn't really take the Poltergeist thing too serious, but like, The Omen and the Exorcist shit. That's the saddest thing. What happened to the chick after Poltergeist 3 too, and like they had to finish the movie after she died because of a misdiagnosis and shit. Like the little kid.
Yeah.
God damn, that's a fucking tragedy. I
Oh,
get
dude,
it.
There's been some crazy deaths in movies.
That's what I'm saying. Cursed films.
What's that?
The Crow. What's his name?
No, it was like either Amazing Stories or Tales from the Dark Side. That helicopter crash killed that kid, the brother, or another actor that was playing the brother. I hate that I give inaccurate information like that, but it's one of those older, like scary horror films. I'm almost 100% sure it was like Tales from the Dark Side or like the
Faces of Death.
No, it wasn't. But yeah, so, like a helicopter crash happened that was like filming in the movie, and there's like they were on a boat and like it hit the little water. Things like that happen, man.
Not on this podcast. Not today. Not during this quarantine.
Well, I don't know, like, and I'm saying this when somebody was like, nobody's glad that celebrities die. I was like, no, not glad celebrities die. I'm not saying I'm glad that people die. But it just goes to show you that, like, nobody's protected from certain things. Like, accidents and tragedies can happen no matter how safe you try to be. So, it's, taking precautions is good. That's why these quarantine episodes are important, We don't get to do them that much. Just have a little fun. Have a little fun with it, because, you got to stay safe with it, because life isn't fun. It doesn't matter if you're the poorest guy on the planet or the richest,
The Tiger King.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that guy.
Who's in jail? Like, you're a king in jail. Like, that's fucking insane.
That one actor, man, I was like, he was in the Terminator and the Alpha Dog. Anton Yelchin, man, killed by his Jeep rolling over. Like, he was in the Star Trek. Like, crazy shit. Crazy shit. You heard about that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, just, think about, like, just how simple that is. Like, that could happen to any of us,
Why not Kirk Cameron? And on that note, we're going to go ahead and fucking end this episode. Jesus Christ,
Wow.
It's dark, it's judgmental. I'm fucking pissed off. Everybody taking shots at Joe Exotic. Let me go ahead and get a couple rounds off the chamber and shit. Like, Kirk Cameron, trying to think who else can fucking get it, honestly, when it comes down. That's fucking mean because these are threats. Nah, Kirk Cameron, you already know. Dude, he's a fucking full-on fucking Christian apologist type shit where like, no, it's gonna be okay. Yeah, Kirk Cameron, he's been in a bunch of movies and shit.
Yeah, I know
like,
Kirk
okay.
Cameron is. I mean, it's just like randomly you're just like, fuck Kirk Cameron. And I'm like, okay. Like,
Because we're still praying to God and saying that, no, listen, if you can fucking be an essential worker, why can't we be an essential believer? Okay, checkmate. I'm out.
Like,
I'm
I
done. Give me a
guess
fucking break, dude. Like,
somebody was asking about that. They were like, you don't think they should be able to take precautions and still have church? I was like, yeah, if they're taking precautions, like this thing.
FaceTime and Zoom like the rest of us.
Or even at the max, like these people pulling up in the parking lot and listening on the FM radio over a transmitter. I don't have a problem with that.
YouTube.
But if they're all
Put it
rolling
live.
up into the congregation hall, like,
Maybe go to YouTube.
yeah, get the fuck out of it, man.
Nobody's got a camera? Oh, yeah, you're going to sell those later. I'm sorry. Here we go.
No, I don't like it either, man.
I know.
I don't like it either.
And to push that ideology, like, yeah, this is beneficial for the long-term progress of society itself. Like, I don't know. Go fuck yourself.
Well, the whole idea of religious freedom is having religious freedom so we don't hurt each other. We don't hurt each other. You have religious freedom in our country, so we're not hurting each other. That being in place doesn't mean that you get to do whatever you want because you tout that as the fucking de facto reason. It doesn't. It's not a carte blanche validation card to go do what you please under the protection of Jesus.
Unless it's Allah.
bullshit.
Unless it's Allah, and apparently, like, can't say that. I know. I'm
I don't care what church
fucking
it is. None of them
crazy,
should be getting
dude.
together
Exactly.
right now that way. They should be doing the same
Nah.
thing people at work are.
those guys in the fucking mosque and shit. Like,
I
I
go to
can't
a
tell you.
concert right now.
I can't tell them what to
Can't gather
do.
and sit next to your friends. Like, you know, it's not like I'm saying that. Hey, one's more important than yours. They're equally important to me, and I don't go to church. I'm not a religious person. I'm not judgmental against people for their faith. I believe everyone should have whatever they please. But at the same time, like, if they're saying that I can't go to a concert because it's fucking dangerous,
Societal
then you
duties.
all can't sit fucking 50 deep in a room either because that's dangerous too.
Looking silly.
Yeah.
Like you didn't get
and
the
you carrying
notice.
that shit out, and then carrying it to the store, and then my mom goes out there and gets it, and I got a problem with it. So I do got issue. I do got issue with the shit. You know, if
Not
there's
to mention,
physical
like,
altercation, physical interaction.
The parents that drop their kids off in Sunday school and shit just because that's what they do, and like you don't know how many people they've been around, so now their kid's been exposed to it, and now that kid has been exposed. It's so silly.
Sorry,
like,
tough shit. Don't drink that
Yeah.
Saturday. Fucking watch cartoons with them. Don't drink Saturday night. Watch cartoons with them.
I don't know, man. It's a crazy world, but the metal live is alive and well. Andromeda, I'm still on it, yo. I can't help it. It's fucking
It's super good. It's super good. Like, and I'm not like without detailing every single track like right off the bat. Like,
it's
and
definitely
I
vital.
haven't dug into it as much as you, but it's super good. I like, for an instrumental record, which is not usually my
vitalism-istic.
Yeah, like I said, it's not usually my thing, but I definitely it's not like it's not my thing, but I'm saying when I usually go for groove with vocals, that's kind of my deal. But at the same time, like, this is it's like, I don't know. I just came off playing Doom Eternal,
Right.
And it's got a heavy metal fucking blood fueled gent fucking ass pounding industrial soundtrack, and then I go into that album and I'm like, oh man, this is like somebody was like, hey,
I like that.
here's some music version
Check
of
this
that.
out.
You should check this too. And I was like, yeah, that's cool, because I fucking right now I like to be angry because there's nothing to do. That's not true. I've been doing a lot.
Okay, that might be what set me off and shit, because like I've got all this built up energy from listening to the good shit. Like I've got to just let it out on somebody or something.
I don't know if I do, man. Let me tell you. Here's the deal. I've been working like 70 to 80 hours for
Right.
5 fucking years now, and like I'm Uber driver. That's a big portion of my fucking week, and that shit's gone. So my income's like dropped by like 70% because my rides have dropped by like 75%.
Right.
So fucking crazy. I got all this time, and I don't know what to do with it. And it's like, I want to get into shit, but I'm afraid to get into shit because it just feels like I should go to work all the time. Like, it is the weirdest thing. So it's like, I want suggestions on what I need to do. I had no plans to watch no fucking Tiger King, man. I don't binge shit anymore. Like, the last thing I binged was Barry, HBO, Bill Hader.
So good.
Get the fuck out. Like,
So good.
yeah. Straight up, got an endorsement for me anytime. Well, I mean, it's Bill Hader. Anything is fucking the best part of history.
Definitely before Better Call Saul season 2 or whatever. Like, and I hate that. Trust me, I respect. But like, if you haven't seen Barry, man, before you even go to Saul, like, trust me.
I watched Breaking
Better
Bad
Call
the
Barry.
day it aired until the final episode, week to week on TV.
Right.
Like a casual viewer. It's probably one of the last shows I got to do that with. I think I did some
Game of Thrones and shit.
Because it was like,
And you do Game of Thrones?
It's not a network show. It's on, Game of Thrones is on premium. It's not on cable. So I'm talking about like regular cable shows.
Brooklyn.
I'm doing that now.
Always.
Then I'm catching it Hulu, and I'm catching it, the week after, 2 weeks, or I binge watch 3 episodes in a row or something like that. But Breaking Bad was like one of the last shows I did that for. I think I did a little Sons of Anarchy because the wife at the time, ex-wife at the time, was watching it.
Right.
But otherwise, like,
True Blood and shit.
I don't know why.
I'm sorry. I had to watch it too. After season 2, I was fucking done. I was like, this is fucking retarded.
Yeah,
and then I had to keep
man,
watching.
look.
Like, why are we watching this in season fucking 5?
That
Like,
shit come on-
what is this?
That shit come on the first time, and she was like, oh man, we should watch this show. It's about fucking vampires. And I was like, right off the bat, you're losing me.
Yeah.
To let you know.
No, this is based in the
hold
real world, though.
I want to tell you, yeah, all right, here, that's what caught me.
That's what caught me, too. God damn it.
Let me tell you my perception.
Go ahead and give everybody else the fucking bait.
Let me have my perception on it, because
Be careful.
At the time, I was angry at vampire. And I like vampire shit, man. I love the old school Dracula
Not the
shit.
glitter.
No,
Not the glitter.
I'm saying,
yeah.
dude, that's what I'm saying.
Trust me.
When that show came out, it was right around that Twilight era, and
Hand
I was one screaming, no, shiny vampires don't beat Batman at shit.
Super
Definitely
horror
not
fan.
the box office. You know, and ironically, now that shiny vampire is going to play Batman, and I'm so happy about it. Like, it twisted. I know people ain't a big fan of Pattinson. If you've never seen The Rover, fucking check it out. Guy Pearce, Robert Pattinson, Scoot McNairy, one of the best indie fucking apocalypse films ever. But True Blood came out in that time frame when that movie came out. So I was already a little shitty against vampires at the time. But somebody says, "Nah, this is different. Check us out. This is just vampires come out in the real world. Like, we find out they exist, but instead of it being like, you know, all like, oh, you're about to stake, bro." Well, they
You can get high off the blood.
No, that's not even so. They
got me,
integrate
though.
into society. And this show deals with, like, their sexual relationships,
Right.
the political aspects of it, the underground, like, how it works, how people fear.
First season did.
Vampire racism. I was like, holy shit, that's actually pretty cool.
The first season did.
It still had, like, the, I don't know if we should be together. But, you know, like, but
That
at
was
the
just
same
Bill.
time,
That was Bill.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, I was still like, all right, I like a lot of the nuances of this enough.
Lafayette.
And the second season came, and I think they introduced some, like, new mystical creature or some shit, or, like, you know, they start teasing she's a fairy or some fucking dumbass shit. And then, like, I remember the third season hit, and I was like, wait a minute. They just keep introducing a new thing every season. They're not going to do this. And then I started realizing around the fourth season, I was like, wait a minute, hold on. There's no consequences here. None. And somebody said, oh, you're crazy, man. People can die. I said, oh, really? I just watched the end of the fourth season. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but if you haven't, fuck you.
Yeah, she got killed. And then...
No. She didn't. No, that's not what happened. At the end of it, she jumps or whatever. The fucking, her best friend jumps and protects her or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she gets shot in the head, and she dies. And literally, she's laying there with a gunshot in her head as the season ends.
Right.
And season 5 begins with her getting bit and resurrecting as a vampire. And I was like, come on, man. God damn, there ain't no consequences. You can't be doing that shit. And then I think at the end of season 5 or 6 or one of them, that's the one where, like, Bill drinks that fucking, like, old ancient vampire blood. He explodes into literally nothing. And I'm like, oh, man, main character just fucking killed himself. Damn, that's some definitive shit. And not even before the episode ends.
Here he is.
It coagulates back into his form. And
Terminator. Like, Terminator 2 liquid, but it's all red blood type shit.
There's no consequences in this. You don't, like, I was like, even if now main characters die, they're going to ham-fist a way to throw them in there and just probably be like, oh, well, let's fucking have a goddamn, we'll just throw a werewolf in or some shit, you know? That'll kill them. And then because they died by that, this curse will... Like, it just... The writing just seemed to go all over the fucking place, man, and I couldn't stand it. Like
WWE creative was kind of like, just kind of...
I got so hot, I was like, this isn't the show I started watching. Like, I want to know, I want to see, like, the culty religion people get furious at the fucking fingers, and, you know...
They kind of did, the Church of the Sun and shit, like, it was kind of,
yeah,
they were getting...
But it started getting fucking absolutely over the top, where the characters, instead of it being, like, this big natural, like, plot for them to, like, you know, do what they were supposed to do, there was all these, like, little subplots of their fucking, like, vindictiveness hidden in between, like, I don't give a shit.
You can't even say they shit the bed, like, they fucking... shit in multiple beds multiple times and just left it. No washing, no cleaning. We're just gonna keep moving to different houses because, like you said, there's no fucking consequences. Like nobody. I know, but like you said, just because it was a different view on vampires, and like I wasn't nearly as big as a fan of the zombies and horror flicks and shit. Like I'm always 28 weeks later and shit, and like that fucking changed my whole perspective and shit. But
I watched Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness probably was the first, but that was like kind of hacky.
Oh, I've never seen him, and I was like, that's unacceptable. Let's go.
Never Army? Like, that was the first one.
I said, well, you got to pop both in.
God bless you, Uncle
Evil
Herb.
Dead was the first Blu-ray I ever bought. I remember somebody was like, Blu-rays are the new thing. You can get all these new movies. It's fucking great. I was like, well, I want Evil Dead 2, and I want the original Dawn of the Dead. And they were like, you can buy a 1978 and a 1987 movie that's probably going to look like half shit. And I was like, Well, I don't have copies of them right now, which is not true, actually. I have like 8 copies of Dawn of the Dead. I have like literally every form. I have like foreign versions of it with different scenes, different music. I absolutely love that movie. That is my favorite horror film ever. Number 1, 1978 original Dario Argento soundtrack.
So 28 Days Later was the first, and then 28 Weeks was the second.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, 28 Days Later was like, that was the first thing I was like, holy shit, like zombies are actually fucking scary and shit. Because before that, like it was Shaun of the Dead, and we're fucking making fun of them because they're all fucking slow fucks, like like.
See, I like the Romero universe with it, man. Like, I always like the Romero, and I know like a lot of people are.
It's like a 1980s view of America
but it's not
shit.
What, the Shaun?
No, like the Romero kind of.
Well, like, all right, so Night of the Living Dead, the original, black and white, 1968. I mean, I'm sure. Well, I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Probably not, because to me, if it's not fucking good, it's not good. And I'm not saying it's not good, man, but like
it's like when people say, like, I mean, it's not even
Hitchcock was good and shit,
zombie
like,
movie,
man,
but it's like that first one. It's the first one to like show like the human. I feel like it's the first one to show a realistic human reaction to it. So look, I'll give you a subplot.
But it's super. No.
Many times.
But it's super popular and shit, right?
In a way, it's all.
What are the underground uncut gems that you think you can think of? Because I got one that I don't think you've seen yet, and I actually did have to watch it with my kid.
Well, we'll talk about that, but I'm saying like,
my bad.
Like this is.
Everybody knows that.
I mean, everyone
like,
knows it, but I mean, everyone knows it, but you haven't seen it. So there's a lot of people like you haven't. I got friends that I know haven't seen it. It's a 1968 black and white horror film, so there's a ton of people in our generation that never gave this movie chances.
I'm already yawning. You just
That's
explaining it to me. Am I wrong?
But I mean, no, it's classic, not for the reasons in it, not for like because of because it is the film it is.
Right.
It's classic for the content within. Like the base story is, like I mean,
zombies.
No, not even that. Like when I think of the zombies are the simple part of it. Like it brought that original factor into it that we're the problem. Like in all the other horror movies before this, it's usually like people were like running from the monster. There was this, unnatural evil that couldn't be controlled or reasoned with, right? So in Night of the Living Dead, it's about this brother and sister who are driving 4 hours out of town to a cemetery, plant flowers on Dad's grave. And when they're there, this old caretaker comes up, and he turns out he's a zombie. And nobody knows how it started, and he attacks the brother and kills him. And the sister runs, and she hits this farmhouse. And when she's in there, she just panics, and this gentleman shows up in a truck. And first off, 1968, he was a black guy, so it was one of the first movies that really put a black guy in the main protagonist role. But the whole simplicity of it is, she's pretty much comatose this whole time and can't help. And he's freaking out trying to like board this house up because outside there's just hordes of these things just like piling up trying to get in. And at first it's a few, but at the end of the night it's like, they're overwhelming. There's also a family in the basement with a little girl that got bit and like a redneck dad and wife, and he's like a real piece of shit, and he's like, constantly greed and putting people in danger to save his own ass. And it was one of the first movies to really have like an antagonist like that was putting everyone else in danger in that sense into it. And it dealt with kind of like, you could tell there was this tension between them, maybe even because of the skin color. Like it had some of this light, some of these realistic tones to it. You've got strangers trapped in a house that don't know each other. They don't trust each other. And one of them's practically fucking useless. But outside there's this pandemic, and we're not dealing with pandemic like we are now, where we can look online every day and find out information, true or false. Back then they had a radio that says, hey, people are getting up, stay the fuck outside, there's no help coming, we don't know what to do. And it's this different universe, and by the time Dawn of the Dead hits its sequel in 1978, it was this big movie that just attacked the commercial, like it just had like these overtones about like commercialism, and the world was going to shit at this point. Like we had lost control. Everything's going overwhelming. People are trying to just get away from the major cities and station out. And it follows a group that hoards themselves up in a mall and tries to live a normal life the best they can with only 5 people. And it's just like really isolated and weird. Like these movies kind of tell a story of how the world was progressed in this unnatural way. And that's why they're classics. So, I mean, like, I don't know, man. You can shit on it all you want, but I definitely think you need to watch it. Like, I feel like that's a recommendation for me big fucking time.
I don't know, man, like Scare Campaign. I don't know why the fuck it came up one day, but I fucking went ahead and watched it and shit. But like, some of the twists and turns within the storytelling shit reminded me why I like movies. How about that? Just I like twists and turns that make fucking sense, but if it don't make fucking sense, get the fuck out of here and shit.
I didn't like horror comedies for years until I saw that Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
That wasn't bad.
2013, 2014. Well, I saw it before it actually came out. I got a bootleg copy from a friend that was the finished movie, but without the credits, and like a couple of the scenes had
old school bootlegs.
Yeah, it actually was.
Stay alive, straight out.
Yeah,
Bam.
Funny shit. But it was before it even come out on theaters or anything or video on demand. But I remember liking the concept of it. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's funny to do something different because, like, you know, like everyone wants to write these cliche horror films and horror comedies, but you know, in this one, like, the only reason anyone's diving is because the Chad kids are too stupid to realize the rednecks are just rednecks fishing and not psycho killers out in the woods. Like, goddamn, that's a hilarious concept. Like, I could see that misunderstanding getting to be that fucking extreme with people and their paranoia these days. So, like, I like when things are done differently, man. And I think that, like, you know, it takes a lot for me to get into those movies. I haven't heard of Scare Campaign.
I know. That's why I was talking about like an uncut kind of like gem where it was like, look.
I feel like I've heard the name, but I definitely know I haven't.
I know. It just is. And like it might take because there's no stores and shit in it, but like everybody that was in it convinced me that it was a decent movie and shit. And like by the end of it, I was like, motherfucking bravo. If you tell me it's A24 now, I'd be like, holy fuck. It turns out that I've been digging A24 since way the fuck back because I can't remember how long ago it was that I saw this movie.
So far, I gotta say, man, like I've only seen a few films by him, but
there's a lot that's bad. There's a fucking lot that's bad.
Well, of course, man. I mean, that's gonna be anybody, especially for indie companies or smaller.
It Comes at Night. Stay away. Stay the fuck away. It Comes at Night is like the worst fucking movie because it's got. I know you fucking might like it, believe it or not. Because, yeah, they're fucking boarded up in their house and nobody knows what's going on. But this new dude comes in and we got to check and see if we trust him or not.
I don't want to watch.
Oops, he turned his back on us and now we got to, like...
I don't want to watch. I don't think every movie like that.
I know, but they did give you a fucking antagonist and shit. And that's why I was like, okay, well, I kind of...
The reason The Night of the Living Dead is because it forebode all those tropes. Like it gave you something new at the time you weren't used to.
Well, I guess that's what this dude did. He just fucking regurgitated the same old shit.
Inspiration can be flattering, but if it's done poorly, it's done poorly. You know?
But if it's done right, it's by non-judgmental. And this has been non-judgmental.